Happy New Year, everyone. It is January 11th, Saturday. It's a windy day here in Florida, and I just did my treadmill workout. My goal this year is to do 500 miles on the treadmill or running. Treadmill always seems to be easier for me since we live in the country, but I don't know how many miles I'm up to now, but I think I did about 3 on the treadmill. So I want to share with you a little stretching routine I do. That's some yoga moves. They're pretty simple if you're active. Maybe take 5-7 minutes tops. So we're going to get started. So we're going to start in down dog. So for down dog, we go into a tabletop position without moving your hands or feet. Just untuck your toes and then press those hips up. Now from this position, my heels are not touching, but I'm pressing through the inside of my wrist, lifting the hips up, sending energy through the heels, so you get a nice calf stretch here. Breathe into it. Now we're going to go into a nice deep hip flexor stretch with the three-legged dog. So take one leg up and over. You're bringing the heel towards the bum. That opens up the hip. Now if this is enough for you, perfectly fine. But if you want to stretch the entire side body, drop onto that forearm and then look underneath. You open up that hip. Now press back up into three-legged dog and bring that knee in between the two hands. I'm going to try to stay within the camera here. Back leg is nice and straight. So you're getting a deep rotator stretch out of that hip, the foot that's in the front. You're going to flex those toes. Keep sinking into this back hip because now you're getting into those hip flexors. So press into the floor here. See if you can get a little hip extension. Lift up. Oh, that sunshine feels amazing. Lift the chest. You're sinking into this glute here. You're rolling to the opposite side of the front knee, okay? Whatever side you're on. Then you can come forward for a little deeper stretch. I like to add in a little rotation here. So I'm going to scoot back so you can see me. Bringing that opposite elbow down. Pressing those palms together. This really gets deep into that front glute. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. We're going to press back up. In this position, I'm just going to bring that front leg out nice and straight. So we're going to square those two hips. So kind of sitting back towards my heel. Lifting the chest up. Notice my spine is not rounded. If it rounds, you're avoiding that hamstring. You've got to get the spine straight. Since it attaches to the pelvis, you're pulling that pelvis back. And you should feel this right in the center of that hamstring. For an added calf stretch, pull those toes back. That's a nice stretch. Now if you want to get a little bit into that IT band of that same leg, bring both hands to that side. Press the chest forward. Breathe it out. Feels really good. Now we're going to come up, keeping that foot in front. We're just going to straighten out that back leg and the front leg. So now we're in a pyramid pose. Both hands are forward. If you need to, your hands can be elevated on a block or a little stool. Because the idea here is to get your spine nice and straight. So you're pulling that front hip back. Back hip forward, squaring those two hips. And that chest forward. And pull that front toe up if you're able. Gets a nice calf stretch. And we're going to rotate to the front side. Now, from this position, you take your hands on the ankles, bend those knees. So here you can see my hips are in line with my knees. I'm pressing those knees away, getting into those adductors, those inner thighs. Spine is nice and straight, so I'm not rounded. My hips aren't way down here. Trying to keep it a very active stretch. Toes are kind of flared outward. Slight angle. Breathe it out. Now from here, we're going to rotate to the opposite side. So we're in pyramid on the other side now, pulling this hip forward, this hip back, pressing the chest forward, try to get the spine nice and long. If you want to, you can raise those front toes, gives you a nice calf stretch. So I'm not lined up heel to heel here. My hips and heels are in alignment, so my feet are slightly separated laterally. To get into that other IT band, we're going to go to the opposite side, pressing that chest forward. And then come back to the center, rotate back here. We're going to walk those hands forward, stretching out that spine. Now remember to keep the thighs tight here. You'll get a nice stretch from those hamstrings. Really reach forward here, bringing the weight to the toes, lift those hips up, get some length here. It's a nice traction stretch for your spine, keeping the belly engaged. We're going to walk the hands back to the center, turn back, then come back into our tabletop. We got the other side to do. So press back up into down dog. Going to open up that left hip now. So the heel is reaching for the bum. You can drop onto that opposite elbow, look underneath that arm. It's an awesome stretch of that whole side body. And then bring that knee in to between the two hands, sliding this leg back for a pigeon on this side. So you're flexing those toes, rolling to the opposite side of the front knee, extending that back leg nice and straight. Get some length in the hip. I'll lift that chest up. Wow, that feels amazing. That breeze, the sunshine. Sorry, folks. My time. Try to get a little deeper here. Bring on to that opposite elbow. Press those two palms together, pulling the shoulders down. You're going to rotate, getting really nice and deep into that front hip. From this side, you're going to bend that back knee if you want. Hold of the same side foot. That is an amazing stretch for that front quad. Back quad, sorry. And then release. From this position, we're going to straighten out that front leg. Sit those hips back, pulling those toes. You can even use a little added resistance here. Get a nice stretch from that calf. Now in this position, you're sending those hips back, pulling this hip, feeling that stretch in the belly of that calf muscle, hamstring muscle. Pressing that chest forward. Notice I'm not rounding. You're giving into it if you're rounding. You've got to get that spine straight, so you're really isolating that hamstring muscle. And then for a little deeper, both hands to that same side. Pressing that chest forward. And then slowly release. Stepping both feet back together. In this forward fold position, this can be a great hamstring stretch, but you got to keep a slight bend in the knees. That takes the tension out of the lower back, allows you to get the spine straight. So if you're rounding and your legs are straight, this is doing nothing for me. In fact, it's a lot of strain on that lower back. It presses the discs posteriorly. So keep the knees bent. You can even reach these fingers forward. Stretch that spine. Feel this in the hamstrings. You can kind of try to get the legs straight to go a little deeper into that stretch. Find some length here. This feels amazing. If you've never done this, this is like the best stretch. Keeping the belly engaged, however, you always want to think about that when you're in forward folds. And then you can walk the hands up, safely coming out of that because you never want to stress your spine. And up nice and easy. Wow, that didn't take us too long. I hope you feel good. Any questions, comments, requests, leave them here on Yoga Flow and Glow. We're going to get back started in the new year. We had a contest in December and I really haven't followed through with it, so I promised to do that in the next week. If you remember, it was a Lash Boost was giving away for doing one nice thing to someone, stranger hopefully, throughout the month of December, and I really haven't tallied those things up, so I will do that. But keep in touch. Happy New Year.